Hello everybody, and welcome to Fast and Easy Visuals to engage with your student. Now, we're not doing the full 50 minutes. We are going to try and make this very fast. What I have in front here of you right now is a Google document. I'll also be putting this link below the video so that you can go to it. This is your job aid. This is what we did in our session. This is where you can go to look for visuals to engage your students. And this might be visuals, you might just be trying to convey a mood, like welcoming students to the class. Or you might be conveying acceptance to let the students know that their rightful presence is encouraged here. Or perhaps you're trying to have an image that kind of embodies what you're going to be talking about in a module. Well, we're hoping you'll be able to find some of these images here. So just come to the link to this document, and it's right there. It's the bit.ly link. Click on it, you'll get into here. So the first thing we're going to go over, and some people may already know these, the first one is Pixabay. And I'm just going to click on here and show you this because this is what we did. Pixabay, free images. You do not have to give attribution on these. They do say that they would like attribution, but you don't have to give it. The reason I use Pixabay is because I know anything that I am going ahead and using from here, I don't have to go that extra step. Now, how does Pixabay pay for itself giving these free images? Well, they do have some sponsored things from another company that are on the top. So don't go to this first row of sponsored, just scroll to the second row. And I typed in binary because I teach computer information systems. So I want to have a picture because we're talking about coding and binaries and things like that. So I just type it in, and then I have my choice of a lot of different pictures here. And I can tell you, because I've come here a lot, I've come to know who the different people who uploaded the pictures are. You might have even seen some of these pictures on flyers or images or PowerPoints that I've done. This is a good one if you want to illustrate some basic concepts. They won't necessarily, like one of our people asked us to type in maps. Okay, there are maps here. Are they the maps that you're probably teaching in your course if you're teaching geography? Probably not. You'll probably have to go more content specific if you want them to be, if you want to find things that are other than that welcoming image for each module, say, in your class. Okay, that was Pixabay. Another one to look at is called Unsplash. Now, Unsplash, you just don't type it there. You can also take a look at all these different categories on top. Some of the categories on top are nature, experimental, architect, current events, fashion, health and wellness, street photography, technology. Let's click on technology. Okay, since I do teach technology, perhaps I could use some of these. I will tell you, Unsplash, I would say with Unsplash, the resolution level of the images are usually fantastic. Some people have photoshopped them and some detail. So there's a certain look and feel that you'll get when you're looking here. If you go into Unsplash, which I encourage you to spend some time doing. Now, I will tell you another place that you can look, and if you go into detail well, when you go to insert stuff, where insert stuff is, it actually lets you go to Flickr. Now, Flickr is another place where you can get photos. Now, Flickr's a little different. Some of these are going to require attribution. Okay, when we look here, Project Apollo Archive, and if I click on this one, I have this up here. I'm going to scroll here, and on this side, right by the picture, where it says taken on August 4th, that's not true, it's uploaded on August 4th. So it's going to be when it was uploaded. This one says public domain. This means, again, I can use this and I don't have to give attribution. When you're looking at any of these photo places, usually if you go over to the right hand side, they'll have a number of icons and they'll tell you, and they'll give you some options like this one. I can star this because I love it so much. I can share this photo with somebody else. Like, I can go here, I can share this photo, I can get an embed code, I can share it by having a link. But if I want to download it, it's this last one, and I can pick the different sizes. And the first 3 sites I have shown you, you can go ahead and do that. Now, the other thing with Flickr, I'm going to show you real quick. I have a Flickr account, and the reason I have a Flickr account where I store photos, and you can see here 5,000 photos, is I take pictures and screenshots of everything. I make lots of things into JPEGs and PNGs so I can use them later. Like, these pictures are what we use in social media for a conference. Then I have some other screenshots of some virtual environments that I've developed things in. I will tell you, even though we're showing you these images and pictures, take out your phone, click on camera, and go ahead and take your own pictures. Take your own pictures when you're on a computer and go ahead and save them. For me, I'm constantly taking screenshots. I am constantly going ahead and I'm taking pictures on my phone because I never know when I'm going to use them. So that's an additional suggestion that I'll give you. So what I gave you were the 3 most popular ones: Pixabay, Unsplash, Flickr. Now, you might have noticed when we went on those sites, there were a lot of white people on those sites. We weren't seeing a lot of different ethnicity, race, or diversity when it comes to people and all the intersectionality that they have. We have to dig a little deeper for that. For example, for me, I go to this specific Flickr site for women of color in technology. There's 500 photos. They specifically ask you if you are going to use one of their photos that you attribute it to them. So here's what all it means. That if you're using it, say, for Twitter or putting it somewhere in social media, use this hashtag. If you are putting it into your course, underneath the picture, all they want is a link to their website. And I will tell you, when it comes to showing diversity, and because I teach technology, there is a dominant culture in diversity, and the pictures I'm showing you are not usually the pictures that show up when they're showing people who are using computers. It's worth that extra time, and it doesn't take that long to go ahead and put that link there. So that's a reference, say, for example, if you're working in technology. Whatever your field is, try to find out, is there a website? Is there some place where you can go, where you can get photos that show the diversity of students that you actually have? Now, right underneath it is another link. This is to an article from the Open Educational Resources, OER, Community College Consortium for OER. This is decent. I will tell you, Images of Empowerment and the Hewitt Foundation, I'm not so much. The All Go Plus sizes, Disabled in Here, the Gender Spectrum. Some of these others below this, these are sites that are worth going to see if you can truly make the images in your class inclusive. And quite honestly, not just inclusive, culturally relevant. So when it comes to pictures, our last thing here was BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed has a quiz, and all the pictures are taken from Unsplash. You can play it if you want to. That was our icebreaker. The next thing I want to show you is Padlet. Now, Padlet is a digital wall that you can put things on. And yes, I have a link to this whole thing on Padlet, so you can go directly there just for Padlet if you want to. Now, there are some articles here from educators on 20 useful ways to use Padlet in the classroom, 30 ways. Go ahead, take a look at them at your own time. Poster of Padlets. What I'm pulling up here is what we had at the e-learning consortium of Colorado's conference. Our poster session we put on Padlet. Now Padlet comes in a lot of different forms. I'll show you here. This one is a timeline. This person developed a Padlet or a poster on active learning. And he decided to put it on a timeline. He really didn't use it to its full potential, but think about this. Could you use this, a timeline, as a way to visually represent something for your students? Could you build that? Or could you have your students build that? It's easy enough. Like this one, this was his slide, you know, as if he was doing a PowerPoint slide. That's who he was. This one is, here's a definition. Clicking on the next one. Here is a classroom, how he's setting up the classroom. Another one, what are other people saying? Straight from EDUCAUSE, telling us what people are saying about active classrooms. Here's another example of a classroom. Can you use this timeline to do visual representation? So what we're really looking for here is going multimodal, not just staying with text. While you can have text, feel free to have text. As you can see on this one, they have text, no problem. Another example of this, let's see, I'll go to our escape the room. This one is less linear. Yes, I designed this. But as you can see, there's pictures, there's the definitions. I didn't make slides, I just typed the definitions in here. This links to a Google Sheet. You can open up in a new window. And while I'll hope we can do escape room soon, take a look at this. This is a document that shows exactly how you can go ahead and do a lesson plan with an escape room. Some other things here is, because we used it for the information and technology literacy rubric, take a look at that. We put that up there. We put articles from different places, and we decided to use a Padlet this way. Again, think about how you can go ahead and use a digital wall with your students. A digital wall that either you can put up everything you want and you can lock it down, or you can have your students build it. Now I'm gonna go to this one really quickly. Okay, this is a description of how we did it for our conference. Feel free, if you want to do it for professional development, go ahead and use what we have here. So we also have it on here. Now the next thing, we use this in a nursing class for them brainstorming for their project. If you want to use Padlet for a brainstorming, please come in here, use everything that you can here. Additionally, here's another example of us using Padlet. Okay, we used Padlet. This was the Padlet of Padlets that people made in the online certification course. This one was from 2019. Okay, so everybody in week 2, the week I was teaching, had to make a Padlet. I went and made a big Padlet of all their Padlets so that students could engage with each other. What I did was I grabbed a Google form and I just pulled out questions and had people vote on this. Now, again, remember this is online learning certification. You will have much more detail and different kinds of topics if you're doing it for your course, because you'd make it specific to the content. Some examples we had here: aesthetics, what's the best choice of color? Best Padlet, what Padlet made you think or smile? This is especially for our accounting people. Format design, which Padlet did you appreciate for format, logic, and design? You know, the last one, humor, irony, or sarcasm, what Padlet made you laugh? So those are some examples there. Now the next one, you may or may not have heard of it. If you have kids in K through 12, your kids probably use it all the time. It's called Jamboard. Here's, like it says, a handful of Jamboard tutorial videos. Feel free to go ahead and use that. Now, what is a Jamboard? It's a whiteboard. It's a whiteboard that you can go ahead and put things up on. This was one of the sessions. I said put up anything you want. Here's what you can do with this. You and your students can grab a pen. You can go ahead and erase things. You can select certain things. You can make a sticky note. See, this is a sticky note. Hi. People really like sticky notes, and you can change colors, okay? change it to orange. Put a high orange there. Oh, and the sticky note always shows up here, so you gotta move it. Okay. The next thing, you can add an image. These were images that people added, like the Sunday. You can circle things. You can put a text box. Again, this is our text box. Edit, duplicate, delete, order. And then you can even use a laser, or what they have is a laser, that you can go ahead and point on things. If you don't, okay, if you don't like what you're seeing here, they're real easy to erase. Then you can always create another frame and do some more. So these are Jamboards, okay? Easy, easy, easy to make. You can do them. You can have your students do them. You can take a picture of them when they're done, okay? That was example 1. Let's see, example 2, we made it look like more like, oh, as if I was going to give a presentation. And you can see here, you know, sticky note, somebody put an arrow. I threw a picture on something. So it's a whiteboard. It's a really, even though I'm saying a whiteboard, it's more like a digital wallet you can put cool things on. So it's like Padlet. And somebody asked me when we were doing our sessions, difference between Padlet and Jamboard, which would you prefer? Padlet limits the number of Padlets you can make, okay? But it's easy to make something look professional really fast. Jamboard, I'm not saying you can't make something look professional, but it takes a bit more time because the formatting isn't quite there as quickly and easily as Jamboard. Now, this last thing that I'm going to go over is Wakelet. Wakelet, it's fun. Okay, Wakelet, you start a collection, okay? And a collection is a group of links or pictures that you made. So I pulled up some information from a webinar that I did like maybe a week or 2 ago. Okay, what I did here was the flyer that we had. Underneath it, I put in the description. Here, I made a Google document because that's what I always do. I put a link to the YouTube of the session. I put a link here to the Algorithmic Justice League. I put a link to a report on missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and two-spirited people. Okay, I also put here from some references. What it is a collection of websites. I put pictures and some YouTubes there, but mainly people use them to make a collection of websites. So they will pull usually the image of the website. Like if I go here to Algorithm Justice League, this is what will show up. So this is basically the front page of the Algorithmic Justice League. And then I can go to anywhere I need to from there. So Wakelet is where you can put a collection of websites. So these were the things that we covered. We had a lot of people asking questions, so that took up the time. We had some questions on when do you need to give citations or give attributions. Again, Pixabay and Unsplash, it's not required. We did discuss with Google Images, what you're going to want to do is, I have a link here. It tells you exactly how to find the free and public domain images on Google Images. So that's about all we have. Again, just come into the document and follow it along. So thanks so much. Bye, everybody.